What's up, everybody? I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'll be breaking down our next matchup for UFC Fight Night 276. In this one, we have Alice Ardelean taking on Polyana Viana. Oh my God. Oh, the skill level in this card is staggering, I tell you. Honestly, this is just another one of those fights where both women are trying to prove they still belong on the UFC roster. I will say I think Viana is more at a risk than Ardelene. Ardelene is at least on a two-fight winning streak. Polyana Viana is not. So I guess you can say it's Viana who's more or less trying to keep her job in comparison to Ardelene, but still neither of these ones feel like they belong on the UFC roster in my mind. Now, to Ardelene's credit, she's at least shown some improvement recently. Her most recent win against Montserrat Ruiz was actually one of her better performances in the UFC. Meanwhile, you have Viana, who has struggled for consistency over the last few years, and I'll get more into that when we get to her part of the breakdown. But it's just like, what are we doing here with some of these matchmaking? What are we doing? All right. Let's get, so with that out of the way, let's get down to the breakdown. Starting with Ardelene. I actually think her striking is fairly decent for this level of women's strawweight. Ardelene's comfortable switching stances, she mixes combinations pretty well, and she can attack from different angles. You saw, like I said, I'm going to be referencing the Ruiz fight a bit in this breakdown, but you saw, right? Good different angles, good different weapons, good at attacking from long range with her kicks or inside with good boxing combinations. At least Ardelene at least looks competent offensively. You saw multiple different weapons she uses, whether it was the kicks from long range, boxing in close, switching stances, pretty good at keeping distance and making sure Ardelene is able to fire off a combination without getting hit. Against Ryan Dos Santos, not so much. Ardelene did get hit a few times in that fight, but she also gave Dos Santos a few licks herself. In fact, that was actually fight of the night. So, if one thing I can say about Ardelene's skill set is that her offensive capabilities, at least on the feet, are competent and honestly pretty good for this level of strawweight. And compared to a lot of lower tier strawweights, that already gives her an advantage. The fact Ardelene has improved her striking to this point, I give her a good, I don't want to say this, I give her a good shot at beating some of the other lower tier strawweights. Like, I think if she fought Shauna Bannon again, she'd probably beat her. I think she could beat a Nicole Cagliari. That's what I mean. I think Ardelene, just given the fact she's improved to this degree, I give her a good shot against the lower tier strawweights. Now, Ardelene can wrestle offensively when needed, and her top game is serviceable enough, but I don't think grappling is really where she's best at. I mean, you saw with Shauna Bannon, like I said, she got the takedowns, but didn't really use much with it. I think this is primarily a striking-based fighter in Ardelene. The biggest thing that I find holding Ardelene back is her athleticism. She's not particularly fast, if you'll notice. Ardelene, like at times, she looks a little plodding, and against quicker, more explosive fighters, that becomes noticeable. The biggest reason why I think she lost to Shauna Bannon and Melissa Martinez is that they were simply faster than her. They were able to move better than her. And that's the biggest thing. Like, she's just not as good of an athlete as her contemporaries. Still, Ardelene is tough. She's durable, and she's willing to trade. If anything, you can say she's a tough woman. She will take a shot to give a shot, and she will keep moving forward. So you got to respect the heart. Now, looking at Polyana Viana, oh boy, she is 1-4 in her last 5 fights. And while the losses have came against solid competition like Tabitha Ritchie, Yasmin Lucindo, Gillian Robinson, for just to name a few, the performances themselves just haven't inspired confidence. Again, she's lost to, like, you just heard the names I listed, right? She fought like top 10 level fighters. In this case, of like Robinson, top 5. It's not that she's not losing to scrubs. It's just she hasn't beaten anybody of relevance. Like, none of her wins are in the UFC. Literally, her last win is against Jean Frey in 2022. Really should say a lot. It's just the performance. Like I said, the performances from Viana just have not inspired any confidence in me. At this point, Viana's entire game still revolves, I think, around whether she can force grappling exchanges, because that's clearly the strongest area of her skill set. For Viana, she does have dangerous jiu-jitsu. Like, you've seen it in a few of her UFC wins and in the regional scene. She's really good with her arm bars. If opponents make mistakes on the ground, she can capitalize. The issue is everything leading up to those grappling moments. And Viana, her striking isn't particularly technical. The setups aren't very clean, and stronger grapplers have consistently shut her down. Like I said, Richie, Lucindo, Robinson, her most recent loss to Jacqueline Anamore. If she takes on a better grappler, she loses because they are much better with their positions and better with their submissions than Viana. Now, how does this go stylistically? This fight, I think, really depends on where the fight takes place. If Ardelene keeps this standing consistently, I think she should win most of the exchanges. She's the cleaner striker, more active striker, and overall just looks more comfortable on the feet. The real danger is if she gets careless during grappling transitions or makes a mistake in top position, because Viana still has enough submission ability to punish bad decisions. So how does the fight play out? I expect Reed to mostly control this at range, using combinations, movement, and mixing stances to stay ahead in the striking. Viana will probably have moments trying to close distance or force clinches, but unless she gets prolonged grappling exchanges, I don't think she'll have enough offense to consistently win rounds. And while Reed isn't some elite athlete, she looked more functional recently than Viana. So, for my final assessment, I don't think neither woman looks especially close to the rankings, but Ardelene at least appears to be improving to me. Meanwhile, Viana looks like a fighter whose game has stagnated badly over the last few years. I mean, literally, like I said, her last win was 4 years ago. So, with that said, I'm going to go with Alice Ardelean, and I'm going to pick her via decision. I think she just, like I said, she sticks and moves, switches stances, and just kind of picks apart Viana from range. If there's one concern, is if Ardelene goes for a takedown, which I think would be very foolish, and more foolishly, just makes a mistake on the ground. That's where I can see Viana winning, if Ardelene makes a mistake on the ground. But if she doesn't, she keeps it on the feet for the most part, I think she's going to win the striking exchanges, and I think she's going to win a comfortable decision. So, once again, I'm picking Alice Ardelean, and I'm going to pick her via decision. But with that being said, that's been my breakdown of this matchup. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below on who you think's going to win. Until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. And remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.